Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today we're going to talk about the conditions of the sound prayer. What are the conditions? We mean by the word condition that the thing that you cannot get into the prayer, okay, except this should be available, such as, for example, performing wudu is the condition of the prayer. You cannot get into the prayer unless this condition of wudu is being applied. This is the meaning, okay? So this is something out of the prayer, okay? It has to be done, applied until you get into the prayer. We call that condition. So the first condition is knowing the time of the specific prayer. Allah the Almighty said, verily the prayer have been set on the believers in specific time. So that's the first thing. You should not pray Dhuhr at the time of Asr, nor the Asr at the time of Dhuhr, nor you can combine all the prayers on one go. No, that's not allowed. Except in certain specific circumstances, such as if you're traveling, if you're taking your way to travel, then yes, we're going to talk about that. But just give you an example, the Prophet used to be traveling. When he wants to take his travel, if he hears the adhan of Dhuhr, then he combine and shorten. He shorten Asr and combine it to the prayer of Dhuhr. So he performs 2 Dhuhr, 2 Asr combined. So, when he does that, if he hears the adhan, so he proceed Asr to the time of Dhuhr. But if he takes his travel while the adhan of Dhuhr is not being given yet, then he delays Salatul Dhuhr to be performed at the time of Salatul Asr. That is allowed. People don't do that nowadays. If they go to the market, they say, well, there might not be a place for us to perform the prayer in the market, in the center. So let's combine it and then go to the market. No. The Prophet did not prescribe for us or allow for us to combine the prayer because we want to go to the market. Traveling, yes, but not market. Anyway, so knowing the time of the specific prayer. Number 1. Number 2, you should be pure from the 2 hadath. Hadath is the event that causes the cancellation of your wudu, or it requires you to take wudu, okay, such as urination, defecation, farting, sleeping. But when we talk about the purification from hadath, we mean by that the minor and the major. Minor hadath means defecation, urination, farting, sleeping. As for the major hadath, sleeping is not something else. The major hadath is janaba. That means if a person had wet dreams, whether in his dream or in his intercourse with his wife. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah does not accept the prayer of any one of you without purification, tuhur. This hadith is authentic and narrated by Muslim. The third condition is the purification of the clothes, the body, the place. Okay? The purification of the place and the thobe and the clothes and the body are 3 conditions for the prayer. Sometimes you may be wearing, for example, dirty shoes that is involved in dirt. Okay? If you wear it, it doesn't mean that you have to take wudu or you cannot pray. No. If you're praying while you realize that there's something involved in your shoes, for example, then it is allowed to remove the shoes and you continue your prayer. This is what happened to the Prophet ﷺ. As he was praying, suddenly the companions saw the Prophet moving out his shoes. Then they imitated him as they were praying with him. So they took off their shoes. Then after that, the Prophet asked them, why did you take your shoes off? They said, "O Prophet, we saw you taking your shoes off. Then we took our shoes off." He said, "Don't do. For Jibreel had come to me and told me that my shoes contain some dirt. So I removed them." So this is a dirt that you can remove easily. Unlike if your clothes or body is contaminated with dirt, that's another issue. Then you have to, your prayer is cancelled. But if there's something, even on your clothes, okay, for example, on your jacket or your shoes, then you take it off. If you can take it off while you're praying, there's nothing wrong. You can continue your prayer based on this hadith. Number 4, the condition number 4, satrul awra, covering the awra, the shameful part. And we do not mean by this only the private part, okay, or the back. No offense, no shame to say for example, the anus. No, but we mean something more than that. The awra of the man is between the navel and the knee. Is the knee awra? The answer is yes. The Prophet said, غَطِّ فَخِذَكَ فَإِنَّ الْفَخِذَ عَوْرَةٌ. Cover your thigh, for the thigh is awra, is a shameful part to be shown. This hadith is authentic. And after that, no one has to argue about this, yes or no. It's okay. No, it is not okay. Well, they may say to you that the Prophet was riding a horse and Anas rode the horse behind him, and Anas saw the thigh of the Prophet had been uncovered. Yes, that's what the narration says. It had been uncovered. It doesn't say the Prophet uncovered his thigh. This is not clear. Look, there is a very important base here. If the saying and the deed are becoming contradictory, what do we proceed here? The deed or the say? No, we proceed the say, because the say is more manifest, clear than the deed. The deed can be, can we find explanations for it? Okay, but the say is very clear. So when the Prophet says, cover your thigh, we should not ignore this and coming to another hadith where the thigh of the Prophet ﷺ had been shown, because the Prophet may have not been realized that his thigh had been shown, uncovered. Okay? Or there's another narration which is in Sahih Muslim, where the Prophet was lying down and Aisha saw him, and she said his thigh or his saq. Saq is what is after the knee. We call that saq. So Aisha here said he was uncovered, his thigh or his leg. So she doubted whether the thigh or the leg. It is true that the word thigh is mentioned, but you should not count on this hadith also, because Aisha herself doubted whether the thigh was uncovered or the leg was uncovered. Okay? So it is not evident, since Aisha herself was doubtful about what was uncovered exactly. You should not be using this as an evidence. What is the evidence? The clear say of the Prophet ﷺ, cover your thigh, for the thigh is a shameful part, awra. Sometimes people, they wear jeans as they go to ruku' or prostration. Some of the shameful part in the back, it has been shown. They don't know that the prayer had been cancelled, and they're responsible from the beginning. Before they know that they're going to be attending the prayer, performing the prayer, they should be very cautious. cautious about something that may be shown. So they should not be taking that risk and showing part of. And they may say, for example, when we were standing, nothing was shown. Yeah, but because of the pressure that takes place while, going down, it will be uncovered. Okay? So therefore, you should not be showing this. The dressing of the Muslim should be applying two conditions. It should not be transparent. It should not be tight. It should not be transparent. It should not be tight. For the man and the woman. Because sometimes you wear very tight jeans, for example, and it describes even the private part. It describes everything. And you should not be doing this. Okay? It's critical. So therefore we advise the person, if you want to wear some pants sometimes, at least it should be some sportive wide kind of clothes pants, which is also thick. Not sick, thick. Okay? So you should be doing this. As for the women, their clothes should be also applying these two conditions. It should not be transparent. It should not be tight. Yeah. What do we mean by transparent? Transparent, when the clothes are transparent, it will be signifying, showing the color of the skin, whether it's dark or black or red or etc. Yes, you may say that, can I wear the inside the shirt? Yes, you can do. But that kind of dress, you do not go with it to the director of the company, standing in front of him with this. It is true. It is true that you can pray. But who is more worthy for me to beautify myself to? Allah or the director? Okay? Allah is more deserving that I beautify myself to Him when I stand before Him in my prayer. Okay? It had been narrated that the son of Ali, Al-Hasan radiallahu anhu, when he stands for the prayer, he is to be looking for his best clothes, the most beautiful clothes. And when he is asked about that, he say, Allah is beautiful and Allah loves the beauty. So I beautify myself to my Lord. And my Lord said, Ya bani Adam, khudhu zinatakum anda kulli masjid. O sons of Adam, take your adornment at every place of sujood, prayer, masjid. Okay? As for the woman, all of herself is awrah, shameful appearance, let's say. I'm not saying that woman herself is shameful, no. But the appearance is shameful except for her face and hands. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about women, they should not be وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا, and they should not be showing of their adornment except what had been appeared of it. Some people say the exception is regarding the clothes. Come on, the clothes is not exception. Okay, the clothes is not exception. You can't say except the clothes. We know them. It becomes meaningless if Allah means what is shown of her outside. Come on. Okay? It had been narrated by Aisha, by Ibn Abi Mulaika, by Aisha radiallahu anha, that the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw Asma, her sister, in her house, then he went out. Then Aisha radiallahu anha, she was, doubtful about why the Prophet declined to enter. So she came to him and asked him, is there anything wrong? He said, oh Aisha, didn't you know that if the woman becomes mature, that means she has the menstruation already? She should not be showing anything of her except this and those. And the Prophet ﷺ pointed out with the face and the two hands. Some people say that this hadith has a slight weakness. It is true, slight weakness. But after investigating the other ways of this hadith, which caused this hadith to be elevated from being slightly weak to become Hasan, that means it's okay. Hasan is one of the categories of authentic narration. Yes, it is a bit low, but it is, nevertheless, it is authentic. Al-Hasan is one of the levels of authentic narrations, which is a bit low, but it is authentic. Okay? So if the hadith is authentic, there's no need to argue about that. The fifth condition, istiqbal al-qibla. Standing, taking the direction of qibla. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَوَلِّ وَجْهَكَ شَطْرَ الْمَسْجِدِ الْحَرَامِ. So, take your direction, your face towards the al-Masjid al-Haram. If the qibla was unclear to him, for example, there's darkness or clouds, or he could not find the true direction, well, he should be trying his best. Make an effort. Not to guess, I think it's here, it's okay. No. If he guessed and then he found out that he was wrong, he had to repeat the prayer. If he tried his best, okay, make some calculations or asking people, sometimes you go to a hotel and we ask people, even in the UK now, in some hotels you find they put for you the direction for the Muslims, even in the UK, in Britain. Even in the United States, I don't know, I can't say about the United States, but in UK, I went to many hotels and they contain this direction for Qibla. If a person tried his best, for example, now we have the iPhone, we have, we can have some apps, they contain easily, you can download the apps and you can easily find the, if he tried his best and he used the apps, but he failed, okay, then he found out afterwards that the direction is different, then there is nothing wrong with his prayer. What if he prayed it and then afterwards he found out that he was wrong? After making his best effort, okay, we say you don't need to repeat it. It had been raised already. It had been raised already. Yeah, this is what I have to say. Also, if, for example, you're performing the prayer, taking a direction different than the direction of Kaaba, and somebody came to you and said, oh, your prayer is wrong, or your direction is wrong, go right or go left, okay? Then you can turn to the direction while you're praying, and there's nothing wrong in your prayer, as what happened to the companions of Rasulullah ﷺ. They used to be taking the direction of Jerusalem at the first time. Then someone came and shouted, I swear or I testify that Allah the Almighty revealed to the Prophet that now take the direction of Qibla, which is in Mecca. Then they all turned immediately without any argument or disagreement or etc. Immediately they turned to the direction of Mecca, and that was it. So you don't need to cut your prayer, cancel your prayer, and then performing the prayer to the right direction. You don't need to do that, okay? What about performing the prayer without taking the direction? That happens, yes, in certain cases. Number one, voluntary prayer. Not any voluntary prayer. For example, you're riding a camel or a donkey or the train or the airplane or the car. You can perform the prayer, the voluntary prayer, as the Prophet used to do, as he is traveling, taking his way, riding the donkey or the camel, he used to be performing the prayer. When the time of the obligatory prayer is on, then he stops, then he goes down from his camel or donkey, taking direction for his obligatory prayer, taking direction to Mecca. So in this case, yes, this is what the Prophet ﷺ used to be doing, and this is narrated by Bukhari and Muslim. Okay. What is the other case? The other case is when there is a fight between the two armies, for example, the Muslims and the non-Muslims. So there is something called the prayer of fear. The prayer of fear, when you cannot take the direction of the Qibla because of this problem, so there is no harm on you taking the direction to any other way than the direction of Mecca because of this circumstance. So these are the conditions of the sound prayer. Now we're going to come to the obligations of the prayer.